My name is Esther. I live here in Shushan, the palace in the ancient city of Babylon, with my husband, the king. We reign over the Persian Empire. In our day, this empire covers the entire known world. Would you like to hear the story of how I became the queen? Okay, well, it started many years ago. I grew up in the home of my cousin Mordecai. You see, my people, the Israelites, had been worshipping other gods than the one true God. And because of this idolatry, God allowed us to be defeated by the Persians, and many of us were taken captive here to Babylon. Mordecai took me in and raised me as his daughter, because my parents had died. I learned many things from Mordecai, but perhaps the most important thing I learned was to do what he asked me to do, without complaining. I didn't understand then how important this lesson would be to me later. One day, during a big celebration at the palace, the king asked Queen Vashti to come before him and his guests. The king wanted everyone there to see how beautiful the queen was.
Bring Vashti the queen, with her royal crown, to show the people and the princess her beauty.
But she refused to come. The king was very angry. The next day the king decided that Vashti could no longer be the queen. The king made a decree to have all the beautiful young women from his kingdom brought to the palace in Babylon. Since I was beautiful, I was also brought to the palace. Out of all of these young women, the king would choose one of us to be the queen. When I was brought before the king, he loved me the most of all the young women in the kingdom, and he put the crown on my head. So I became queen instead of Vashti. Now Mordecai had told me not to reveal to anyone that I was an Israelite. I did as Mordecai commanded me, just like when I was brought up with him. Then, one day, two of the king's servants were very mad at him. They were so mad that they planned to kill him. When Mordecai found out about it, he told me, and I told the king. When an investigation was made, it was found out to be true. Therefore, they were both hanged on a tree. It was recorded in the king's record book. The king had promoted a man named Haman, who would prove to be very evil. The king had commanded everyone to bow when Haman passed by, but Mordecai refused to bow. This made Haman very mad. Haman was so mad that he wanted to lay hands on Mordecai alone, because someone had told him that Mordecai was a Jew. It was then that Haman got the evil idea to destroy all the people of the Jews that lived throughout the kingdom. Haman went in before the king to build his case against our people.
There's a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among all the provinces of your kingdom, and their laws are very different from the king's laws. In fact, they don't keep the king's laws, so it is not in the king's interest to endure them. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to them that have the charge of this business, to bring it into the king's treasuries.
The silver is yours, and the people. Do to them as it seems good to you.
So this evil Haman caused that a decree should be sent throughout the whole kingdom, and that it should be written in all the different languages of the people in every single part of the kingdom. It said that upon a certain appointed day, that the people should kill all the Jews, both young and old, little children and women, and to take all their possessions for themselves. The king and Haman celebrated, but the city Shushan was perplexed. Then some of my servants came and told me that Mordecai was outside of the king's gate, dressed in sackcloth and ashes, and that he was crying bitterly. I sent a messenger to Mordecai to find out what the problem was. When the messenger returned, he brought the decree to destroy all the Jews, along with instructions from Mordecai. He wanted me to go in before the king and ask him to spare Mordecai and all the people of the Jews. I told the messenger to go to Mordecai and tell him that everyone knows that if anyone goes into the inner court of the king without an invitation, that they will be killed. Mordecai sent back an answer to me that was this command. He said, Esther, do not think that you will escape into the king's house more than all the Jews. If you do not speak up now at this time, then will deliverance come from another place. But you and your father's house will be destroyed. And who knows whether or not you came into the kingdom for such a time as this. I sent the messenger back to Mordecai, telling him to gather all the Jews that were in the city and fast for me for 3 days, eating or drinking nothing at all. My maidens and I will do the same, and so will I go into the inner court of the king, which is against the law, and if I perish, I perish.
What do you wish, Queen Esther, and what is your request? It shall be given unto you, to the half of the kingdom.
If it seem good unto the king, let the king and Haman come this day unto the banquet I have prepared for him.
Cause Haman to come quickly, that he may do as Esther has said. Esther, what is it you want, and what is it you desire?
If I have found favor in the sight of the king to grant my request, let the king and Haman come over to the banquet I have prepared, and I will tell you tomorrow.
I have been promoted by the king with riches and honor, and Queen Esther has invited only the king and me to a banquet tomorrow. However, this means nothing as long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting in the king's gate.
Let a gallows be made for Mordecai, and tomorrow make a request of the king to have Mordecai hanged on it. Then go your merry way to the banquet.
So Haman came to the banquet I had prepared for him and the king. The king asked me again what my request was, so I told him. I said, my request was that my life and the life of all my people would be spared, for we are sold. I and my people are to be killed.
Who is he that presumes in his heart to do this?
The adversary is this wicked Haman. So the king hanged the evil Haman on the gallows he had made for Mordecai. And I cried to the king, asking him to reverse the decree he had made against my people. However, since no decree sealed with the king's ring could be reversed, the king made a new decree, saying that the Jews could defend themselves against their adversaries. Therefore, my people were ready to defend themselves on that day. So the Jews gathered themselves together in their cities, and they defended themselves, and no man could defeat them. Many of the leaders of the provinces helped the Jews also, because of the respect they had for Mordecai. And Mordecai became more and more famous. So Mordecai wrote a letter to all the people of the Jews throughout the lands of the king, and told them that they should celebrate on the day they rested from defeating their enemies. Also, that they should make it a day of feasting and joy, and sending portions to one another, and gifts to the poor. And Mordecai was advanced by the king to be the second in command in the kingdom, and he was great among the Jews, and he sought the wealth of his people, and spoke peace to all the people of Israel.